it's conditioned by the quarterback, right? Like this, they're now going into a season again with now it's a battle. It's Aiden O'Connell uh, versus the of Minshew now and others, right? But that's not a good place to be in. Like, yeah, I mean, Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew are actually very similar players in terms of wildly inconsistent, volatile, mercurial, you might say, and quirky, right? Minshew with his jorts and the beard and everything else he's got going on, and Aiden O'Connell with the mustache. It's an unusual duo to strap yourself to, but it kind of comes down to that. Like, as much as an elite quarterback might get you to 10 wins right out of the gate, I mean, the ceiling for that combination might be 10 wins. Yeah. Like what are, if everything breaks their way, what are Minshew and O'Connell even capable of getting you to in terms of wins? It might be 10 max. I think that giving the job to Antonio Pierce was the right thing for this roster, even though that's not necessarily always the case for those interim head coaches that, create a bump in performance and all those kinds of things. I feel like that locker room would have rebelled if they hadn't given the job to O'Connell or to Antonio Pierce rather.
I think that's the tough part to predict, right? It's Pierce. I mean, look, when Urban Meyer left the Jags, he was so bad in so many ways at a special level of bad that we just said, okay, they have to be better. Once they get over that hurt, they have to be better. You've pointed out Josh McDaniels' head coaching record is pretty bad historically, and he didn't necessarily make a lot of friends along the way while not winning games, right? It was a bad combination. So just resetting and having a whole year, so having the whole year of Antonio Pierce, and then you look at, okay, Pierce did help that team down the stretch. So how do you weigh that? How do you weigh the defensive performance? Because I'll say it again, I mean, on paper, the Raiders' defense doesn't look very good, right? It's Max Crosby. They bring in Christian Wilkins. Malcolm Kuntz had a breakout season. The secondary, like, there's no big names there at all. It's a bunch of okay-looking players, and they put that together to finish 5-4 down the stretch, have some really good games. They gave the Chiefs all they could on Christmas and all that. So how do you weigh those things? Defense, which is usually difficult to predict year over year, and then the interim head coach, which isn't really a thing to use from a predictive standpoint because it's a whole different world and a whole different environment, right? It's Antonio Pierce's show now. It's not him coming in off of what we realized was a year and a half of a disastrous situation with Josh McDaniels. So those are the tough parts to weigh here, because if you just look in isolation and you say first-year head coach with an okay roster and one of the worst quarterback situations in the NFL, no offense to those guys, it just is. So that's why it's 6.5. So it's tough to be excited about that until you realize, hey, there looked like there was a lot to be excited about with the Raiders during the second half of the 23 season because of Pierce and what Patrick Graham did as defensive coordinator and how they came together.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very different job now, right? Like when you have a team that's sunk as far as they had under McDaniels and the reasons for sinking that far under McDaniels, like just fixing the sort of environment is a big part of the job for Antonio Pierce. Coming in, just not being McDaniels, and then being the sort of fixing the vibes, right, and getting those things moving in the right direction. And honestly, that is a big part of being a head coach in today's NFL. Like the CEO part, the environment, the culture building, all that kind of stuff, right? It's a really important part of the job. But there is another part, which is the schematic stuff, right? The on the field X's and O's, which might not necessarily be the real responsibility of the head coach, not just in Las Vegas, but anywhere, right? As long as you have somebody who's doing that at a high level, you can be fine. And Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator, got a ton of credit last season for what he was doing with that defense. But now is the time where, okay, theoretically, you've probably taken the vibes thing as far as you can take it in terms of, all right, we got rid of the guy that was dragging everything down. It was just a bummer across the board. We got good vibes coming in with Antonio Pierce. We got somebody that's been there, done it, understands what it takes to win, all these kinds of things. But now somebody needs to step up and do the X's and O's stuff on a consistent level over a full season and beyond. And that needs to be good. Otherwise, the team won't be. And that, I think, is still an open question. Patrick Graham did really good work last season. Luke Getsy, on offense now, like that's the area that needs to take a big jump this year and get everything working. Otherwise, the Raiders are just not going to be good because, they've got players here or there and they've added them. Christian Wilkins coming in, but it's not a roster that you look at and say, they are going to be good because of the talent they've got.
The shows we're doing now, I think it was the roster rankings that we did the other day, and maybe some over-under discussion too, was the impetus for our bet show. Was the impetus for giving the fans the ability to bet for the season, because we hated on the Raiders a couple of years ago, ranked them as the 23rd roster or whatever it is, and they're still in the same boat. So I'll continue the anti-Raiders agenda, I guess. I'll go under the 6.5 here. What's your final call?
What did they win last year? 8?
Yeah.
8
and 9 with Josh McDaniels holding them down for the first chunk of the season.
I'm going to talk myself into going over for them, even though I don't like it.